Parshas Shoftim, Tavshin Ayin Vav. We are now approximately 3 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. Time is moving along, and as we mentioned last week, we're in Chodesh Elul. And Chodesh Elul means that besides each week learning the Parshas HaShavua, we now are in the few weeks before Rosh Hashanah. And it's time, besides learning the Parsha, it's time that we start thinking about Rosh Hashanah requires preparation. And preparation means not just one thing, but preparation means an overall understanding and knowing what Rosh Hashanah is and what we have to do and the things that we have to improve each and every day until when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, we are improved people and we are ready for Rosh Hashanah. And this week's Nesivos Shalom on this week's Parsha gives us a good lesson and another good way to prepare ourselves during Elul. Nesivos Shalom asks on the first pasuk of the Parsha, Shoftim v'shoitrim titem lecha v'chol sha'arecha asher Hashem Elokecha noisein lach. The first pasuk in this week's Parsha tells us that we should appoint judges. We should appoint also shotrim, as we would call policemen, those to police us, the chol sha'arecha, and all of our entranceways, all of our gates. Asher Hashem Elokecha noisein lach. So Nesivos Shalom asks a question here that we need to understand why this pasuk speaks to us in a lashon yachid, in a singular lashon. Isn't the mitzvah of appointing judges? It's a mitzvah on the public. It's a mitzvah on Klal Yisrael. It's a mitzvah on everyone. Why does this pasuk speak to us in this singular lashon? Shoftim v'shoitrim titen lecha. For you. It does not say lachem. It says lecha, for you. And really, as we said, it's a mitzvah that's incumbent on the entire tzibur. So Nesivos Shalom brings from Reb Chaim Vital, and it's brought down in the Nachal Kidumim on this pasuk, and it explains with a beautiful concept and a lesson for us. It's also brought down in the Shla. It's brought down by other Mefarshim also, so it's an important concept that's very widespread. And it says like this: when we say the pasuk says Shoftim v'shoitrim titen lecha b'chol sha'arecha, Reb Chaim Vital says that every person has their entranceways. The entranceways, the things that influence them, the things that influence their bodies, their souls. The entrance, the gateways that we have, our gateways, entranceways of sight, the entranceways that we have into our brain through our sight, through our hearing, smell, speech, and any of the other senses for feeling things. Those are referred to the entranceways to a person, because those are the initial things. You have a person's brain works, and all these things stimulate different reactions and different things in our bodies, and these are called, says Reb Chaim Vital, they're called entranceways, she'arim, sha'arecha. These are the entranceways into a person's feelings, into a person's body. And every person individually needs to set up judges, says Reb Chaim Vital. Shoftim v'shoitrim titan lecha. We're speaking to each person individually. Each person knows themselves. Every person knows what is going on with themselves. You know what influences you. So Shoftim v'shoitrim titan lecha. Every person has to set up judges on each of these senses. We always have to weigh, are we being influenced by all these things in the right way? So the Torah goes ahead and tells this to us in a singular lashon. And the Torah is telling us that we're speaking to every single yid. Nobody should feel that the Torah is speaking over them or around them or to everyone else. Titen lecha, the Torah is telling you I'm speaking to each and every individual separately. That each person needs to guard their senses. You need to guard the things that are having an effect and that are influencing you at every gate, which we mentioned. You have to watch your eyes. A person has to be careful with what they see. You have to be careful with your ears. You have to be careful what you're listening to. We need to watch our speech. A person's mouth, if you let it loose, it can be a terribly destructive thing. That's a shar. That is an entranceway. That is a part of our body. That is a part. We need to watch what we say. We need to guard ourselves to use all these senses and all these things for the right purposes. And we need to use it in ways that Hashem will be happy with us. And that's a decision that has to happen every minute. Nesivos Shalom explains that it's not something which we can make a decision today. Okay, I'm going to guard my tongue. I'm going to guard my eyes. I'm going to watch what I'm doing. And it's a decision that's constant. That's every moment of the day. Whatever you're doing, whoever you're speaking to, whatever you're looking at, whatever you're listening to, it is something that every moment of every day, eventually, we hope that it becomes subconscious. Where that's the way we run our lives. But at the beginning, now we're going to be makabel on ourselves to be more careful with all of our sha'arim, with all of our things that influence us. It has to be a conscious decision every moment and every second of the day that we need to know what are we looking at? What are we listening to? Are we listening with our ears? Are we listening to Torah? Are we listening to shiurim like you're doing right now? Are we doing constructive things, or are we doing destructive things with our senses? Are we ruining our lives and losing our olam haba by listening to lashon hara, by listening to rechilas? When you listen to Torah, you're doing a tremendously good thing for yourself, but those same ears can listen to lashon hara, can listen to rechilas, and not only get an avera for those things, but it can destroy every bit and every drop of Torah you've ever had. When you listen to lashon hara, you listen to rechilas, you do the wrong things. Not only are you doing the wrong things, but you are destroying anything good which you may have done also. And the way to set up our lives and deal with this, says the Nesivos Shalom, is to set up Shoftim and Shoftim for ourselves. You need to set up both of them. We'll explain in one moment how we use both of them. In other words, being a shofet. What is being a judge? Being a judge means, when someone is a judge, you need to think and weigh. What does a judge do? A judge listens to both sides of an argument. Right? When you're sitting in a court, you see a judge listens to both sides, to litigation, and the judge has to weigh everything that he has just heard. A judge has to weigh all the options and all the things that were just said, and the judge has to make an intellectual decision what is right and what is wrong. He needs to know the law, and then he listens to everything, and he decides what is right and what is wrong. And that is a shofet. What to bring closer. We need to know what to bring closer to ourselves and what to distance ourselves from. Each moment, we need to judge by the facts that are in front of us. We need to set up our own personal guidelines and boundaries and see what is good for us at this moment. And that is being a judge. And what about shoytrim? What does that do? So shoyter also denotes being tough at times. How do we think of somebody who's in law enforcement? Someone who is a shoyter. What does he do? What does someone who's a shoyter do? You know what he does? He enforces the law. He doesn't decide the law. He enforces it. And sometimes that is the only way, says Nesivos Shalom. A shofet, now we can decide what's right and what's wrong. But once we decide something's wrong, you need a shoter. You need somebody who can be tough at times. Many times, an intellectual approach to the Yetzer Hara does not work. You can't reason with the Yetzer Hara, because sometimes you know that the only way is to be tough, and it means being tough on yourself sometimes. It's elul, and we can say that. It's okay, sometimes people don't like it sometimes when you put pressure on them and say, okay, now we're going to pressure you for a couple of weeks. It's elul. Sometimes I'm telling you, yes, you need to be tough on yourself, because you need to fight with the Yetzer Hara. And we need to be a judge every minute and decide what is the Ratzon Hashem. And then we need to be also a shoter to carry out we need to enforce what we just decided is the right thing to do. So shoftim v'shotrim titan lecha b'chol sha'arecha. Don't look at your friend. Don't look at someone else. We're talking to you. The Torah is talking to each and every individual person. Your challenges are not the same as the challenge of your neighbor. It's not the same as the challenge of anyone in your family. Every person has their own set of challenges. Titen lecha. It means you need to judge yourself. Let's judge yourself, not others. And then, Shotrim, we need you to go ahead and enforce that. And the Nesivos Shalom adds another thing over here, and something which we could really think about as we continue our journey through Elul and head toward Rosh Hashanah. And he says like this, you know what it could be considered Sha'arim? We said, Shoftim Sha'arim Titan Lecha B'chol Sha'arecha. You know what the Sha'arim are? And some people here I know are going to enjoy this very much. The Sha'arim of a person, the beginning and the basis for what gets a person going, the entranceway to a person, are the midos of a person. That before a person learns Torah, and before a person does anything else, you need to work on your midos. You need to be a mensch. And Nesivos Shalom brings down the Rambam. The Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva, Perek Zayin, Halacha Gimel, the Rambam tells us that besides a person doing tshuva during Elul, during Aseret Yemei Tshuva, aside from a person doing tshuva for actions, for averos that may have been done, a person needs to do tshuva for their midos. For if a person became angry, kas, for a person being angry, for a person being jealous, says the Rambam, chasing after money, chasing after kavod, all these things are things that Hashem frowns upon. And Hashem does not like when we do them. So the same way a person has to do tshuva on actions, on averos that you may have done with your actions, you need to do tshuva on your midos. And almost all of the time, says the Nesivos Shalom, and this again, psychology, almost all of the time doing tshuva on your midos is tougher than doing tshuva on an action that was done. And until one does tshuva on their midos is very, in a way, a scary thought. Until a person does tshuva on their midos, the gateways to your actions, the things that are the basis of a person, you really can't go ahead and do tshuva on your actions. You need to work on your midos first. You need to be a mensch. You need to be a person that is not jealous of other people. That is not a person that gets angry quickly. You need to be the right type of person in order for Hashem to come and be interested in you. Because we have to prepare the gateways. A person has to watch their midos. And the Rambam brings the pasuk. The pasuk says, and we laid it on the time of Tzibur, pasuk in Yeshaya, Ya'azov Rasha Darkoi. The Rambam points out that we say, Ya'azov Rasha Darkoi, a Rasha should leave Darkoi, his ways, his pathways. It doesn't say, Ya'azov Rasha Ma'asav, you should leave your actions. The first thing that you have to do is leave Darkoi. Darkoi means to change your ways, to change your midos. And the way you do things, that is sha'arecha. That is the beginning of a person. That is the beginning of what a person gets influenced by. So let's take this lesson of this week. Shotrim titan lecha. Each and every person, let's learn the lessons that you have to judge yourself. You have to police yourself, and you also have to watch your midos. You have to make sure that the first thing we think about is that you should be a mensch. And that's what Hashem wants to see. Before you do tshuva on your actions, b'chol sha'arecha, the thing that is the entranceway, the beginning of what gets a person going.